Dan Geltrude, Geltrude, a company founder, and Steve Forbes, Forbes Media Chair, Editor-in-Chief, on the significance of this. Well, Steve, give him credit for not giving up, but where's this going?
Well, what it's doing is two things. One, it's flouting the rule of law, the spirit of the rule of law. When we have a former president getting indicted, when we have serious allegations against this president and his son and his brother, that doing this kind of end run where you know it's not constitutional, the Supreme Court's already knocked you down before. Why do you keep doing it? It's for votes. But I think it just makes the public more cynical and is unfair to students. They don't know what the rules of the game are. They're being played. They're puppets.
All right, I'll put you down as a maybe on this. Dan, where do you think this goes, though? Because obviously, the more relief you offer students, sadly, what we've come to discover is the more tuition, room and board, a lot of those fees just go up. And it's been a cycle that continues. This will only spur that, won't it?
That's exactly it, Neil. You get in this cycle where you never end the cost of higher education. So let's even say, which I'm not saying it will work, let's say this program worked and you give these students relief. You have not solved the problem. So what's going on right now, in my opinion, is nothing short of predatory lending. If you want to really solve the problem here, Neil, I think there's three things you have to address. One, universities have to have some skin in the game, because if students can't afford to pay back these loans, universities don't care, doesn't impact them. Second, I think that students and their parents have to complete some type of educational program to show that they have an understanding of what they're getting involved with 5, 10, 20 years down the line in repayment. And third, if students don't qualify for loans, they have to be turned down, no different from anyone else that gets a loan. If you can't pay it back, you don't get the loan.
Steve, there was another proposal pushed by some Republicans. There were a couple of Democrats in there, too, if my memory serves me right, said that maybe we have to start, pruning who would be eligible for loan relief or loans, period. If they have a promising major and a promising career that'll pay well, yes. If not, no. What do you think?
Well, that's why lending should be returned entirely to the private sector, where banks and lenders, they're on the line if the loan's not paid. The idea of Dan's and others to have the university have the skin in the game is good. And also, how about transparency? Students have less transparency about what they owe and payments like that than you do on your credit card or your mortgage. There's a good documentary out from a thing called IZZIT, IZZIT.org, IZZIT.org, on the whole lending thing. For example, if you borrow $40,000, $10,000 a year for 4 years, you think you owe 40? No, if the interest charge is on 47. It's a good educational, to Dan's point, a good educational documentary that every parent and student should see. So yes, universities have skin in the game, and I think the idea that everyone has to go to college has to be put to rest. You may want to do it later. You may want to do courses online, but you also should have, there should be no stigma to the fact you might learn a skill that the market actually wants and will pay you well for it.
That's not a crazy concept, Dan. All I know is my plumber, electrician, his people have people. In other words, just getting them is like booking the Pope. Those careers are revered in places like Germany and Japan, not so much here. That's what seems kind of backwards to me.
Yeah, listen, I think the point that Steve just made is spot on. What we're saying here is that college shouldn't be for everyone, and it's not for everyone. We need to have a diversity in the workforce. And part of the problems that we're having with shortages, you have people that are going to college, taking out huge loans, and then they realize, well, that education I just got, well, it really wasn't a good return on investment. I could have saved a lot of money and gone into a trade and been very financially successful. So I think that goes back to we have to change the way we're educating younger people, Neil. from high school.
Yeah, just get the priorities right to avoid this. And, if the Supreme Court tells you can't do it this way, then just don't do it. Guys, I want to thank you both very much. In the meantime, we're going to give you an update.